The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the show, the Southampton match preview, brought to you by Levi Solicitors. 10% off your legal fees at levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Dan, Michael and Moscow. And let's talk about this game on Saturday then. Southampton away. They've had a very slow start. Still not won a game. Easy win now that we're all singing, all dancing, all winning, all joyous Leeds United.
We've won loads of games compared to them.
Well, 100% record in the last game, which is 100% more than them.
Okay.
They are 100% losers.
Apart from the games they've drawn.
They don't count.
They have, in fairness, had a couple of good draws with Man City and Man United. They're actually quite good points, but then they've also lost to, Everton and Wolves, so can't be that good.
Well, they drew with Newcastle, who we know are the richest club in the world, so well done, Southampton.
Southampton do better against top clubs because they, as we saw them at Leeds, they press and try and get the ball off you loads. But if they are against a team that lets them have the ball, they're garbage. So that's why when their best performances are just trying to get the ball and counter-attack.
They did lose a couple of key names over the summer, which has noticeably weakened their first team squad. Danny Ings went to Villa for a boatload of money, but I didn't even realise Vestergaard had gone to Leicester, so this is news to me.
Yeah, I think he was into the last year of his deal, so they had to cash in on him before losing him for free. And they're also potentially without Che Adams as well at the weekend. Do you remember who we signed instead of him? I can't.
I
don't think we did.
Didn't
we?
sign anyone, did we?
No.
In the end, but yeah, he missed. He's missing the Scotland game this tonight, I think it is, as we record. So he might not be fit either. So they might be down to Armstrong up front, who is the guy they got from Blackburn as a replacement for Ings.
And James Ward Prowse is suspended as well
for that vicious assault on that Chelsea hero.
Yeah, so it's a good time to be playing this bunch of losers.
It is all set up for us to win and take advantage of this situation, but that would terrify your average Leeds fan, the notion that it's there to be won. But we've said that already plenty in this season, looking at the games versus Burnley, Newcastle so far, games we should be looking at to say, right, these are the ones we need to win, these are the ones we should win. And that applies to this, doesn't it? As much as you might not like to admit it, Michael.
I mean, yeah. And also, when you look at the WhoScored.com strengths, it's notable that their only strength is shooting from direct free kicks, and that
is James Ward
Prowse, and he is not going to be playing. So that essentially leaves them with no strengths, which I'm comfortable with.
Adam Armstrong did score against us in the Championship, didn't he?
Think so.
Yeah. So that's woo. Scary, that, isn't it? And obviously Alex McCarthy is a Leeds fan, so that's nothing to worry about in their net.
Will we play in the blue or the lilac for this? That's one of the important things for me. I think it should be blue.
I'd be thinking blue.
Yeah.
Because lilac is a mixture of red and white, isn't it?
What
sort
colour?
of.
Lilac is a shade of blue, surely.
Well, it's kind of pinky.
Is it?
I don't know.
Anyway.
What colour shorts does Southampton wear this season?
Black.
See, that's where your blue.
But you're allowed Premier League rules allow for short clashes.
Do they?
They do, yeah.
Fair, okay, right. Well, maybe we should wear neon green.
Well, there is that white shirt.
Clash with anything.
Well, there's the white short option, isn't there, that we debuted at Fulham with the blue kit.
Of course, but that was EFL rules, wasn't it? So I had to change your shorts because Sean Harvey says so. Yeah, so we'll definitely be wearing a kit.
That's good. This is the match preview, is it?
I mean, their weaknesses: finishing scoring chances, keeping possession, aerial duels, defending set pieces, avoiding fouling in dangerous areas, and defending against skillful players.
Which is Raphinha. A question mark over his return, how late he comes back.
Who I'm going to say he will be arriving jet-lagged and
but he's absolutely buzzing
blood-clotted from being on a long-haul flight.
He's buzzing his tits off, though, is Raphinha at the minute. There's no danger of him. He's coming back and he's scoring in this game to continue his hot streak.
I mean, hopefully they just don't play him because he's... Who did they play on Friday? I can't remember.
Uruguay,
yeah, and that's our time. It's early Friday morning, isn't it? And then
It's not like he's gone there and played 3 games. We've been moaning before about him only coming off the bench, but it's probably worked out better for us, hasn't it, that he's like in a sort of star cameo role.
There's a lot of travelling though, because they were based in Bogota before the Venezuela game, so they'll have gone to Venezuela, then back to Colombia, and then the game against Uruguay is in Brazil, and it's a pretty long way.
Right.
So
You've been to South America, Michael. Is it a long way?
It is a long way, yeah. I mean, anyone with a map can probably look at these things, but yeah.
What should we look at? What should we look at on the map?
The distance, right? Aeroplanes go fairly straight,
yeah.
So you don't have to look at roads. You can just look at more or less straight lines,
right?
And then there's flying from Brazil to where's he going to come in? Heathrow, and then get to Southampton. We know. I'm sure we all know the story of Gary Sprake's debut I think he was only 16 when our goalkeeper away to Southampton was taken ill. I think he was either too ill or too injured. And the only reserve we had available was Gary Sprake, who was in bed in Beeston. And they got him in a car. They drove him as fast as they could to Ringways, now Manchester Airport, and put him in a private plane and flew him to Southampton. And he puked all the way because he didn't like the air travel, and so they flew him to a small airfield near Southampton where Don Revie was there with a car to pick him up, and apparently he was so sick that Revie had to carry him out of the plane into the car that was waiting for him, drive to the Dell, where the game had already been delayed to allow Leeds to fly this goalkeeper down, stick him on the pitch, where I think the first thing that happened was he conceded an own goal, and then in the middle of a challenge, one of the Southampton players knocked him unconscious. So it was an interesting day all round. He said that he didn't get to eat all day until they were back in London and they had a pause for the train home, and he finally had steak and chips, and it was the first thing he'd eaten in about 48 hours.
I'm amazed to find there's a Maps app on my laptop.
No way.
I'm not lying, no.
I thought you were going to get the Ordnance Survey out.
True story. And it confirms there is an airport in Southampton. Its three-letter code is SOU, Southampton. A good idea, what might be a slightly better idea, I've just noticed that Southampton has a common, big patch of green land. Bring the plane in on that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just down the road, don't you? What this fabled map tells me. If you go down, it's called Hulse Road, Rob Hulse Road. There's Lidl just at the end there. Drop it down on Southampton Common, pop in the car around to Lidl, pick up a sandwich, go along the road.
See, I think
take him to the ground.
I think the plane he would be coming across the Atlantic on will have food. Just a hunch.
And it's probably going to need a bigger airport than is available on Southampton Common. But if you get him in a helicopter from Heathrow, and if you're looking for a big patch of grass to land a helicopter on, St Mary's has got one right in the middle. So half time.
Yep.
Dropping down.
Can we not do it before the game?
I mean, as soon as he's available, I was accounting for delays. But
hang on a second. Whoa. They've got a ferry. There's a ferry terminal.
That famously fast mode of transport.
We had out that boat, went about 100 and something years ago from Southampton. Remember that one? Do you know what it was called?
The Sinky one.
That's the one. I'm not proposing we send him back on the return journey of the Titanic, just that don't rule it out as an option.
Okay. Well, we'll get him there somehow, I think.
We could go on a boat plane.
We might now have Calvin Phillips, is the other thing.
What?
Well, he's
didn't go to play Andorra, did he? So what's his excuse?
Did you see Andorra's ground on fire? It was like it's the sort of thing you probably went to see over the weekend, Mike. Like a little, there's like a sports centre attached to it. Did you see any of it?
I only saw a still of the fire. It wasn't going on during the game, was it?
No, can confirm. No, there were no flames.
But yeah, Calvin missed that, but I presume he's going to be fine, isn't he?
Well, yeah, Leeds, I think, intimated that he wouldn't be fit enough to play for England, but he'd be fine for us against Southampton. But they also kind of put it out there that Raphinha was going to be able to play in this game, and he's not going to.
Is he not?
He's not going to be back in time.
Of course he is.
He might be. I think he might make the bench. I think we'll probably start with Jackie and James.
There's a railway line that runs right past St Mary's. Don't see a station, but so
jump off.
Yeah, just ask him to slow down.
Yeah, about like James Bond running across the top. I mean, if Gary Sprake can get there in 1964, Raphinha can get there in 2021, puke everywhere, get knocked out, still probably be the best player on the pitch.
We're going to win.
Yeah.
Is Theo Walcott back there now?
Probably.
Like a
Absolutely searing inside.
No, he is there.
like a homing pigeon.
I'm not sure whether he'll play, though. Because I don't think he does all the time.
Yeah, but if James Ward Prowse is out and Shea Adams, who else have they got?
Yeah, that's true.
Because they're not the strongest. And they're also not very good. We do, I mean, the one serious thing to say about this is we need a win because it would be nice to win 2 games in a row. But also, the longer we can keep Southampton winless, the greater the chances that they'll stay below us in the league table.
So a 6-pointer already at this stage in the season.
Not a 6-pointer.
A must-win 6-pointer.
And not a must-win, but it would definitely help us if teams that aren't winning games didn't beat us in general. And if, Newcastle are going to sign all of Paris Saint-Germain's players in January, then... or even just get a decent manager, then replacing them below us with Southampton would be fine by me. I don't care who goes down as long as it's not us.
Do you reckon we've got the monkey off our back in terms of being winless ourselves by beating Watford? We've shed that skin now and we're ready to go on and use it as a springboard for the rest of our season, or are you still terrified?
I feel all right. I feel fine. We'll be all right in this game.
I felt all right before, and I think we'll be all right in this game because even when they were at their best last season with those players that have sold and the players that are missing this game, we still beat them home and away, and we're never really uncomfortable in either game. Hasenhüttl tried to big himself up and big his team up in, I think it was the Elland Road match, where he was all a bit bewildered, and we won 3-0 from memory. And yeah, it was just a matter of kind of getting used to how high they press and then going, well, that's fine. Let's just win.
We'll play through your press. Okay.
And Daniel James is useful in that scenario. And if it is Jackie instead of Raphinha, it's not like Jackie Harrison's suddenly a terrible player just because Raphinha is now better than Pele. So we'll still be very strong. And then interesting to see who's up front, whether it's Big Pat Bambo or whether it's Rodrigo carries on up there. We don't know about Bamford's fitness. I'd like to see Shackleton keep going because if we are talking about beating a high press, then send him motoring past them all.
Are you prepared to go on record with a score prediction?
1-0 Leeds.
4-0 to Leeds.
Jesus Christ.
Well, in that case, I'll go somewhere in the middle. 2.5-0.
Okay.
The Square Ball Podcast.